single most valuable skill when job searching over the next 2 decades won't be tailoring your resume, and it certainly won't be beating the ATS. It's going to be personal branding. Now, content creation is hands down the most underutilized tactic used by job seekers. Instead of chasing down opportunities, have opportunities start coming to you. Now, the vast majority of job seekers don't create content. They put together a resume, hit easy apply, update their LinkedIn with the green banner, and wait in hope that opportunities will come to them. The simple fact that if you choose to create content means you'll already be in the top 1%. Think about that for a second. You don't have to be famous or a genius. The only thing that moves you from being the 99% to the 1% is choosing to share content. You go from being a job seeker to being sought after. Let's start with a simple example. So 2 people apply for a job. Both went to the same school, graduated with the same grade, and are new to the workforce. One of them applies with a traditional resume, and the other doesn't have a resume, but has 50,000 followers on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Which person do you think is likely to get the job? The answer is the second person, but not for the reasons you might think. The world has changed, and there are 2 points I need you to understand. So 20 years ago, the analog physical world was our primary reality, and the digital world was our secondary reality. Today, it's flipped, and the digital world is becoming the primary reality, and the analog physical world is our secondary reality. That's point number 1. And if you want proof, just look at the kids of today, and you'll see all the ways that they care more about their digital life than their everyday real life. Now, point number 2, followers matter less than you think. Now, this might seem counterintuitive considering the example I opened with, but hear me out. The algorithm has changed. In the previous decade, it was all about the number of followers you had. The bigger the audience, the more power and influence you had on that platform. But this has changed. Think about it. When you scroll your feed, you don't only see content from people you follow, you actually see more content from people you don't follow, because the platform is trying to show you things that you're most likely to engage with. And therefore, in the next decade, you won't need a huge following to expand your reach. But let's go back to that example. So the reason the person with an audience on the internet is more likely to get the job isn't because of the number of followers they have. It's because of the library of content they've created. They are practicing in public. What every potential employer wants to see is you doing the thing in the increasingly valuable digital world. They will always choose the person who is already creating, sharing, and thinking on their own over the person who hasn't done anything yet. Now, you may be thinking, but Lucy, I got straight A's in college. What if I have a PhD? Frankly, who cares? Just to prove it to you, do you know where I went to college? Do you know what my grades were? Do you care? No, of course you don't. I have worked with hundreds of job seekers, often on multi-6-figure salaries, and not once did anyone ask me where I went to school, what my grades were, and they certainly haven't asked me for a resume. That's why I opened this video saying the single most underutilized tactic used by job seekers is content creation. So let me share a quick overview of how you can get started, but if you want to explore this in more detail, and get my full personal branding strategy for job seekers, then take a look at my Career Growth Accelerator program. I've put a link in the description below. So the key to building a personal brand and creating content is simply getting started. Don't overthink it, just start writing and hit share. You won't be perfect or polished to start with, but that comes with practice. I've been putting content out on YouTube now for just over a year, and with every video, I get a little bit better. Whether it's in my delivery, the edit, or just the thumbnail, with every video I put out, my goal is to be 1% better than the last. So you will get better with time. Now, next is consistency. The more you show up online, the more people will engage with you and want to follow you to hear what it is you have to say. Now, I recently decided to grow my Instagram account, and in March, with 130 followers, I started to post consistently. 1 post a day at first, and then moving up to 3 posts a day. And since March, I've added added over 100,000 followers to my account. Now, my average reach is 13 million accounts a month, meaning I have a very nice problem of often being oversubscribed. So imagine being inundated with job offers just from sharing your insights and perspectives on the internet. But Lucy, what should I be sharing or writing about? So when creating content, you really want a mix of content to keep people engaged. So I recommend 3 buckets. So first up, your personal and entertaining bucket. Now think about all the coffee meetings where you've shared that same handful of details over and over again. I work as an operations director. I like running. When I was at high school, I was on the basketball team. Whatever it is. Think about how many times you've introduced yourself on the phone and had to give that same 30-second background on who you are and what you do. Ask yourself, what is it you like to do outside of work to stay healthy? Did you learn something from your kids this weekend? Or maybe something happened that put life into perspective for you? Each of these examples are stories you can share in your personal bucket. Next, think how many times you repeat the same stories at work. John, can you remind me how to do X? Or what did you do to get Y? You might be a whiz at Excel. Could you share how to do advanced Excel functions like pivot tables and VLOOKUP? Or maybe you're a manager and you could share advice on communication and motivation techniques. Any advice or insights is going to be in your valuable bucket, and this will be made up of tips and tricks that may be helpful to others, but also by sharing them, you're showcasing your skills. And the third bucket is full of credible stories. How your Excel skills enhanced data accuracy and decision making, or how you motivated your team through a difficult period. These stories help to enhance your credibility as they showcase your achievements. Now, by creating content, you are expanding your reach and allowing people to gain indirect insights into your resume. Moreover, they receive a much more detailed understanding than they ever would on your 3-page resume. Now, my client Henry started implementing these strategies and within a month saw his profile views on LinkedIn go up over 2,000%. He also had 4 recruiters with opportunities reach out to him off the back of his content. So if you want to unlock these types of opportunities, start adding content creation into your job search strategy. Now, if you don't know where to start or you want to ensure you're approaching it the right way from the beginning, come join my Career Growth Accelerator program. I'd love to help you. The world is changing. Actually, it's already changed, and all the most exciting, most lucrative opportunities of the future will go to the people creating and sharing in public in the digital world first. Writing online is the new resume. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, you may also like these 2 videos. This one shares more about reaching out to the hiring manager, or this video about how to build a personal brand to secure more jobs in 2024.